The employee feels confident and relieved, believing that the large man is a veteran hero with 7 years of experience and that Seo Do-jun won't be able to face him easily. But Seo Do-jun responds with utter coldness, telling the large man to mind his own business and leave immediately. The large man and the employee are both utterly shocked by Seo Do-jun's bold and unexpected response. Seo Do-jun continues speaking calmly, provoking the large man by sarcastically asking if he really intends to avenge the employees he beat up. The man feels intense anger and thinks to himself that he needs to teach Seo Do-jun a harsh lesson. But the veteran hero suddenly remembers an important fact, that most hero deaths don't come from monsters, but from conflicts with other heroes, which fills him with tension and reignites his instinct for fear and caution as a hero of 7 years. The veteran quickly decides that it's best to avoid a confrontation for now, so he leaves the place in a hurry, apologizing that he's very busy and hoping they'll meet again. After the large man leaves, Seo Do-jun turns toward the employee, giving him a sharp look. Seo Do-jun asks the employee in a chillingly calm tone if he has any more complaints against him. The employee is extremely flustered and can't respond, so Seo Do-jun tosses a bag full of high-quality mana stones in front of him and asks him to calculate their value. The employee is utterly shocked at the sight of so many high-quality mana stones and wonders to himself about Seo Do-jun's true identity. After counting the stones, the employee announces that the total value is 150 million won. Seo Do-jun expresses his annoyance at how little the amount is, despite working all day, and orders the employee to bring him the money. The employee fearfully reminds Seo Do-jun that he has to deduct the commission, but Seo Do-jun gives him a terrifying look that makes him question if he said something wrong. Seo Do-jun changes his stance with icy calm and tells him the commission is only 1%, demanding he hand over 148.5 million won immediately. The employee loses his composure and yells that the commission is 40%, not 1%. But he calms down a bit and explains that any transaction exceeding 100 million won requires approval from his superior. Seo Do-jun coldly tells him to get approval immediately. The employee instantly calls his superior, explaining the situation with clear tension and fear. Seo Do-jun suddenly takes the phone from the employee and addresses the superior directly, demanding that he give the employee an order to hand over the money. The superior tries to ask for the phone back so he can clarify the situation, but Seo Do-jun angrily throws the phone hard against the wall. In the end, Seo Do-jun tells the employee that the superior understood the matter well and ordered him to bring the money, leaving the employee speechless in the face of Seo Do-jun's clear threat. The employee gives in to Seo Do-jun's clear threat, agrees to his demand in a quiet voice, and hands him the large amount of cash he requested. Seo Do-jun calmly leaves the shop after receiving the money, and with a mocking smile, tells the employee that they should make another good deal next time as well. A strong-built man arrives at the shop, and sharply asks the employee why he didn't answer his phone and what he meant by the call he received earlier. The employee, now completely broken and distressed, tells the man that he can't continue working anymore, and announces his resignation. The employee looks at the phone shattered against the wall, desperately repeating that he just can't endure this any longer. At that moment, the phone rings again, and the employee turns toward it nervously, feeling frustrated and hopeless. On the other end of the call, the same man speaks, and asks a girl named Hyun Jo-yeon to come immediately. Hyun Jo-yeon appears, a girl with elegant purple hair, confidently walking through the street while drawing admiring looks from the people around her. When Hyun Jo-yeon enters the shop, the employee is utterly shocked and screams in disbelief when he sees her. Hyun Jo-yeon smiles calmly and assures the employee that she is indeed Hyun Jo-yeon, the one he was called to meet. The employee realizes at that moment that Hyun Jo-yeon is a 4th-ranked hero in Korea and vaguely remembers that she is his boss's niece, wondering why she came to this place. Hyun Jo-yeon explains to the employee that she came because her uncle complained to her about a severe headache caused by a hero who forced him to sell mana stones. Hyun Jo-yeon seriously asks the employee to tell her all the details about what happened in the shop. Meanwhile, Seo Do-jun is busy trying to regain his former strength through training and meditation, knowing that regaining his power is the most important thing at this stage. Seo Do-jun realizes that mana in the current world is much scarcer than in the world he previously lived in, and he believes that regaining his full strength may take as long as 3 years or more. Seo Do-jun thinks it would be good if he could get some good equipment to help him during this period, but he notices that the equipment available in this world is very limited and of mediocre quality. Suddenly, a violent tremor shakes the house, and Seo Do-jun's grandmother screams in terror, thinking it's an earthquake. His little sister Onyong screams in fear, asking if what's happening is really an earthquake. At that moment, Seo Do-jun quickly realizes that what's happening isn't an ordinary earthquake, but something far more dangerous. Suddenly, huge cracks appear in the sky, and a massive rift forms in the air above the city. Seo Do-jun watches what's happening with great concern, fully aware that this is the emergence of a new and dangerous rift zone. Seo Do-jun hears his sister On-young calling out to him in panic, yelling, "Brother!" The scene shifts to the Seoul Hero Association building, where the monitoring team receives urgent news of a new rift appearing in the Mapo district. The team leader realizes the severity of the situation when he discovers that the rift appeared in a residential area, and he is deeply worried about the possibility of civilians who are not heroes entering the rift. The leader explains with fear that if any civilian enters the rift zone, no one else can enter, and if the civilian dies inside, a wave of monsters will pour out of the rift zone into the city. He emphasizes that if that happens, the entire city of Seoul will be in imminent danger, threatening everyone's lives. Elsewhere, Hong Hee-ju appears in a state of intense anger, slamming the table forcefully and screaming that it would have been better if she had killed that bastard herself instead of complicating things and paying money to get rid of him. Hong Hee-ju yells at director Lee, ordering him to make sure Kang Cheol-woo is killed, adding that if he fails to kill Seo Do-jun, they will have to pay back the money they received 10 times over. Director Lee agrees and assures her that he will personally oversee the matter until the mission is completed. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Seo Do-jun, who finds himself in a dense forest filled with tall trees, standing in the middle of it, deep in thought. Seo Do-jun finds it hard to believe the place he is now seeing before him. Seo Do-jun lies down on the ground and remembers that this forest is the Batisqua Forest, which he used to visit often as a young child. Seo Do-jun walks through the forest, observing everything around him, from the trees and plants to the blowing wind, feeling amazed at how closely the place resembles his memories. Seo Do-jun notices that the mana in the air is abundant, and that the shape of the sky and clouds is also exactly the same as in his old memories. Seo Do-jun decides to leave the forest in a certain direction, hoping he will find something he expects to see. As soon as he exits the forest, he is astonished to see the World Tree, the gigantic legendary tree he always knew. Seo Do-jun realizes that this tree is an extremely ancient spiritual tree that contains a vast flow of pure, high-quality mana. Seo Do-jun remembers that the destruction of the previous world was caused by the burning of this tree, which led to the collapse of the mana flow in that world. He is amazed to see the world tree completely intact and realizes that this means he can regain his former strength. Seo Do-jun smiles confidently, affirming to himself that he can now recover all the mana he previously lost. Seo Do-jun sits under the world tree and enters a state of deep concentration to absorb pure mana from it. Seo Do-jun remains in complete focus, continuously absorbing mana from the world tree. Days pass, 1 day, then 2, then 3 days, and he is still sitting in the same spot, deeply immersed in meditation and mana absorption. Seo Do-jun forgets about eating and drinking, remaining in this state for 10 whole days, focusing only on breathing and absorbing mana. At the end of this long period, Seo Do-jun breathes with relief, feeling a tremendous change in his strength. Suddenly, Seo Do-jun senses strange movement and suspicious sounds coming from inside the forest, and his expression instantly changes to one of caution. Strange glowing creatures appear before him, and Seo Do-jun mutters angrily, calling them by their known name, Volcana. Seo Do-jun immediately remembers that these are the same creatures that burned the world tree in the past and caused the destruction of the previous world. The creatures quickly head toward the world tree, trying to destroy it once again. Seo Do-jun prepares to face them, wishing he had a water-based weapon to help him in this battle. The glowing creatures rush at him at tremendous speed to attack him. But Seo Do-jun quickly decides that the lack of a weapon doesn't matter, and that he can face them with his current strength. He confidently declares that he will crush them all without exception. Seo Do-jun begins to use the power he gained from the pure mana to attack them. He manages to deliver an extremely powerful blow to the monsters, which begin to collapse before his overwhelming strength. Seo Do-jun begins his battle against the monsters called Volcana, showing intense focus during the fight. Seo Do-jun unleashes his mana energy on a massive scale, surrounding himself with it. He notes to himself that the dense mana has been released in the form of chai to execute a powerful explosion against the monsters. Seo Do-jun breathes a sigh of relief after launching the attack, noting that it's been a long time since he released such a large amount of mana at once. The Volcana monsters appear again, filled with rage, and begin attacking him. Seo Do-jun confronts them swiftly and powerfully, using the concentrated mana to hurl it toward them. He advances toward the monsters with strength and confidence. He is able to block the monsters' attacks easily, appearing calm during the confrontation. Seo Dojun declares that he has made sure the world tree is safe, and now decides to check how much mana he has regained by using his eyes. Seo Dojun confidently moves toward the monsters trying to attack him again. One of the monsters tries to attack him with great ferocity, opening its wide mouth full of sharp fangs. But Seo Dojun counters the monster's assault with tremendous force, using his fist to deliver a crushing blow directly into the monster's mouth. After this powerful strike, the monster is defeated, and a red gem drops from its body onto the ground. Seo Dojun approaches the gem and confirms that he managed to obtain it. He smiles confidently and announces to the monsters that once he finishes defeating them all, he'll be able to obtain a rare item called the Eternal Ember. He continues with a confident smile, saying that he should be able to get this item. Seo Dojun recalls that the probability of acquiring this item used to be very high in the past. He decides to test the odds of getting more of these items from the remaining monsters and starts attacking them with power and ferocity. More red and yellow gems fall from the monsters Seo Dojun defeats, and he observes them carefully. Then he notices the Eternal Ember already among the gems and picks it up carefully. Seo Dojun feels satisfied as he obtains this item once again, expressing his surprise at getting it back. Seo Dojun contemplates the Eternal Ember in his hands with great focus. Seo Dojun realizes he wants to absorb more mana from the world tree, but knows that his current body can't handle anymore. So he decides to absorb the energy of the Eternal Ember instead and convert the mana in his body into the fire element. Seo Dojun remembers that in the past, he didn't even need to absorb such rare items himself. He moves around and collects the scattered gems that fell from the monsters. Seo Dojun continues absorbing the energy of the Eternal Ember until the last drop he can handle. Meanwhile, outside the rift zone, large crowds of people gather, watching the rift with fear and great anticipation. A state of chaos and tension spreads among those watching, and someone shouts in anger and extreme anxiety, "Damn it!" The events begin with intense anger from a man named Bang Sung-woo, who expresses his frustration and annoyance at what one crazy person did, wondering why there's all this trouble. Another man, Kim Hyun-woo, responds, pointing out that the person in question did it in an attempt to save his little sister. But Bang Sung-woo angrily rejects this, saying it's just an excuse, claiming that person heard a rumor about something valuable in an easy zone and entered without thinking about others. He adds that if he wants to die, he should do it alone without causing trouble for everyone else. Kim Hyun-woo asks Bang Sung-woo what the guild leader said. The latter replies that the leader just ordered them to wait and observe the situation. Kim Hyun-woo wonders why they're waiting, and Bang Sung-woo explains that rift zones have appeared simultaneously in several major countries like the United States, China, Britain, Turkey, and Switzerland. Kim Hyun-woo understands why the leader is busy, commenting that this is the first time something like this has happened. He then adds that other countries were able to control the situation well, while only they are having problems because of that person he calls a beggar. Bang Seung-woo becomes angry and says he'll wait for that person to come out first, and then he'll smash his face. The huge mysterious rift continues to grow, while the situation around it remains extremely tense and confusing. It is officially announced that 28 days have passed since the new rift appeared, and the Hero Association issues a warning about a wave of first-level monsters. It is also announced that if the civilian Mr. S, who first entered the rift, does not come out within the next 2 days, the situation will become very serious. The scene shifts to a man who appears to be in a leadership position, who asks in surprise, "So the civilian who entered first was that bastard Seo Dojun?" His assistant, Director Kim, confirms that the information is accurate, and that the civilian is indeed Seo Dojun. The leader asks about the likelihood of Seo Dojun returning alive, and Director Kim answers that if he's just a civilian, the chance is almost zero, about 1%. But the leader laughs mockingly, saying the chance of returning alive is less than 0.1% and finds the idea of a civilian surviving to be ridiculous. The leader then continues, mocking the Hero Association, saying they are making huge mistakes due to a lack of information. He then wonders, what if Seo Dojun is actually awakened? Director Kim replies that if he is truly awakened, then it will depend on what hero rank he belongs to, admitting that it's difficult to make an accurate judgment in that case. The leader agrees with Director Kim, adding that simply being good at fighting and surviving in the rift isn't the same thing. Suddenly, the leader mentions that Seo Dojun has 2 family members and suggests that they should secure them. Director Kim is surprised by this and asks what they're planning to do now. The leader responds with a chilling calmness, saying that they should treat the family well for now. But if Seo Dojun dies, they'll sell his family's organs, and if he returns alive, they'll demand massive compensation and put him into debt. Meanwhile, Seo Dojun continues his deep focus on absorbing energy from the world tree inside the rift. Seo Dojun